Hi, welcome everyone to another HPP Innovation Week 2022 session. Today's session is titled Using HPP for 100% Natural Beverages with the Highest Nutritional Quality. My name is Anthony Zapata. I'm the Marketing Specialist here at Hiperbaric, the global leader in high pressure technologies. Joining me today is Bianca Chiovanni. She's the founder and CEO of Simplicity Beverage based out of Atlanta, Georgia. Not only is she the founder and CEO of the company, she also has a background and is a chiropractor, nutritional counselor, and functional medicine practitioner. So she's going to have a lot of insightful information to share with us in today's session. Thank you for joining us, Bianca.
Thank you so much, Anthony, for having me for this 2022 HPP Innovation Week.
Thank you, Bianca. So for today's presentation, I'm going to kick off with an introduction to what HPP technology is, what it looks like in the beverage industry, and Bianca can then follow up with some of the amazing things going on at Simplicity Beverage. So quick background, what is HPP? In simple words, it's a non-thermal preservation method that uses two key components. That's water and high pressure, a whole lot of pressure. And what that does, it inactivates foodborne pathogens to make food safer by inactivating microorganisms such as Salmonella, Listeria, E. coli. So how much pressure is being used? So if you put this into perspective, the pressure at sea level, where I'm currently here in Miami, would be 14.7 psi. If you multiply that by 1,000, you'll reach the deepest point in the ocean, which is the Mariana Trench. The pressure there is around 4,700 psi. That being already is a whole lot of pressure. So to put it in perspective, HPP is 6 times more pressure than that. And a commercial HPP industrial equipment can reach around 87,000 psi, which translates to 6,000 bar. So how this technology works essentially is products already, or in this case, juices and beverages already bottled and sealed are placed into blue cylinder baskets. These baskets enter a vessel where they're exposed and filled with low pressure water. Once this vessel sealed with water and there's no space left, pressure begins to rise. What this does, it takes around usually around 180 seconds to reach that 87,000 psi levels. And what this does is squeezes isostatically the beverage product, and it's usually around 15% extra water that's filled into the vessel. And while this is taking place, a lot of these foodborne pathogens are being inactivated. So from a food safety perspective, going back to the pressure conversation, so at 14.7 psi, which is ambient pressure found at here in Miami, Florida, you're able to get rid of plants, vertebrates, and some invertebrates. Once you go up to pressures between 7,000 and 30,000 psi, you can start beginning to inactivate parasites. At 40,000, 44,000 psi, you start getting rid of those yeast and molds. And around 72,000 to about 87,000 psi, you get rid of viruses and bacteria that can spoilage food products. Unfortunately, HPP only the commercial industrial equipment only reaches 87,000 psi. Pressure above that can inactivate bacterial spores, but unfortunately, we're not able to do so. However, there is another session in this program that's going to talk us through some ongoing projects on how we could possibly make this possible in the future. So here's a breakdown of some of the applications in the HPP industry. Juices and beverages has always been uptrending, leading category, taking up 24% of the industry. Some of these within the HPP juice and beverage category, products range from cold pressed juices. As you can see on the screen, we have Asuja brand, which is based in California, Simplicity Beverage, which is owned by Bianca Chiavani, and she'll be kind of going in depth on how she came to create her product. Other products include smoothies with Evolution Fresh, plant-based milks made out of oats, almond, pumpkin seeds. We have cold brew teas and cold brew coffees that use a cold filtered process, and they use HPP as a method to not apply heat to denature, and in essence, the product. Other juice and beverage applications include fruit-based waters, vegetable soups, which are really popular in Spain, where we're headquartered, functional and energy drinks, as well as probiotic and fermented beverages. So let's talk about some of the benefits of HPP for juices and beverages. First and foremost, I think the most important benefit is food safety. HPP, as I mentioned before, helps get rid of these, nasty bad bacteria that can get us sick, and it activates, Salmonella, Listeria, E. coli. In addition to food safety, it creates a fresh-like quality product. You're not using heat, which can pretty much boil up a product, leaving you with only sugar. It maintains that nutritional profile and the organoleptic characteristics. In addition to fresh-like quality, you have shelf life extension. The shelf life extension allows you to, scale your product and access new markets. And lastly, HPP helps you produce a clean label. There's no need to, since you're already receiving the shelf life extension benefit, there's no need to use chemicals or any harsh ingredients that are commonly used to extend the shelf life of products. So what does shelf life extension with HPP look like? Well, luckily for the juice and beverage category, it's one of the most effective technologies and tools to use. You can extend the shelf life up to 30x. So if you take, for example, a raw cold pressed juice that has a shelf life of 3 to 5 days, you're able to extend that up to 90, 120 plus days while still preserving the fresh characteristics of the product. So with the pandemic and post-pandemic activities that have been going on, a topic or trend of conversation has been immune boosting ingredients. I pulled this statistic out from the Nielsen report. It states that retail revenue for products containing turmeric has grown 179% in 3 years. This means that consumers are becoming more informative, and they're educating themselves on the importance of using and consuming ingredients that can benefit their bodies. They're pushing for a cleaner label. They're learning about how their foods are being processed, and HPP plays a key role because it aligns perfectly with this demand, because it maintains the fresh taste and quality of juice products without altering its nutritional profile. If you take, for example, ingredients like ginger that help with digestion, pineapple that are anti-inflammatory and helpful, and lemon, which is potent with vitamin C, these are all ingredients that can really benefit the consumer. So to break down the pasteurization process for juice, and I'll take orange juice for example. Traditional juices on the market were mainly processed using a ultra high temperature process. The temperature for this process can be anywhere between 135 degrees Celsius to 140 degrees Celsius. If you put this into perspective, you're essentially denaturing the product. You're boiling the product as a kill step process, but it leaves you essentially with a sugar drink without any of those nutritional properties. More recently being used is a process called flash pasteurization, which is also called high temperature short time. It's still using this heat. However, it's being applied in a shorter and reduced time. Temperatures is also slightly reduced. On average, it could reach anywhere up to 90 degrees Celsius. But the problem here is that it's still a thermal process, and you're still left without some of these nutritional properties. Not being biased or anything, but I do believe high pressure processing is one of the most beneficial ways to process a juice or beverage, considering it is one, non-thermal, and two, it is still a safe process that still inactivates some of these harmful bacteria and pathogens. Aside from HPP, I do think obviously a farm to table raw cold pressed juice made at home is also really, really, really nutritional. There's no minimal process there. However, it is still unsafe for pregnant women and children to consume these products, because it could still be, from a food safety perspective, cause sicknesses. So it really comes down to comparing a thermal process with a HPP to a non-thermal process, that's when HPP comes to play. And if you look at them side by side, HPP uses pressure and time, while thermal processing uses temperature, in this case, high heat and time. When it comes to HPP, pressure is transmitted homogeneously. That means pressure is applied to all sides. When it comes to thermal processing, there's a slow transmission with gradients being applied to the product. With HPP, there's no changes in chemical composition. When it comes to a thermal process, there's formation or breakage of molecules. And lastly, HPP does require refrigerated storage, and thermal processing, beneficial aspect of it is that it is a shelf-stable product at room temperature, so it is easier to move these products around, but you do get that degradation of nutrients. I wanted to quickly touch base on the packaging formats for our impact technology, which is the one I introduced to in the beginning of the presentation. The two main criterias for this technology is that packaging does have to be flexible and water resistant. Materials are usually PET, HDPE, LDPE, HDPE, and PET. When it comes to what the future of HPP processing for the beverage sector looks like, I really do think the Hiperbaric, our recent innovation, bulk technology, will play a critical factor in not only improving efficiencies in the beverage sector, but also making and allowing that companies can use any type of sort of packaging, since the way bulk works is that liquids are applied into a bag. The process is essentially the same, just that it's not in its final packaging. It's if you think of it, the best way to describe it, it's liquids are being processed in a balloon bag, and then that goes into an aseptic filling tank, which then is bottled into any type of packaging. So you're not limited to plastic packaging. You could use glass, you can use bag and box, you can use a carton, any type of packaging that you desire that are also more sustainable. So the main differences between our impact, our in bulk, is that the impact is that bottles are bottled before HPP and then processed. With the in bulk, products are processed inside the balloon bag that I previously described. The vessel filling efficiency for the impact is around 40 to 55%, where on the other hand, with in bulk, you can reach that 90% range. Production varies between 3,000 to 3,200 liters per hour, where in bulk you can get anywhere between 45 to 5,000 liters per hour. With impact, you're limited to plastic bottles or pouches. And like I said, with bulk, you can use any type of packaging. Hyperbaric impact technology requires regular filling lines. In bulk does require additional equipment, which is the aseptic clean ESL filling line after HPP. And our impact range has several vessel volumes, ranges from the 55 liter to our 525 liter. We have 5 different equipments in that range. Or in the in bulk, it's fully automatic with a 525 liter vessel that can be single or twin. So that concludes my presentation. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to email our team at marketing@Hiperbaric. I'm really excited to bring on Bianca Chiovanni, founder and CEO of Simplicity Beverage. She's going to have plenty of insightful information for us. Thank you for joining us, Bianca.
Thank you again, Anthony, for having me. I am super excited to share more about Simplicity Beverage and how Simplicity Beverage Company has utilized the HPP technology from the formulation shelf life process all the way to the direct to consumer retail market. So I'm super excited to go ahead and share this information this afternoon. Again, thank you so much. Again, welcome to HPP Innovation Week 2022. My name is Dr. Bianca Chiovanni. I am the owner and founder of Simplicity Beverage Company based in Atlanta, Georgia. I am a member of the Cold Pressure Council. I'll go more into that shortly. I have Simplicity Beverage Company, again, based here in Atlanta. What we do is we actually create craft tea and lemonade flavors. Again, our products are vegan, gluten-free with no additional dyes, chemicals, or stabilizers. And again, we are huge proponents of the high pressure processing or HPP technology to go ahead and maintain that clean label, prevent pathogen growth, and as Anthony shared earlier, maintaining those naturally occurring vitamins, minerals, and aromatics. Simply put, my product, Simplicity Beverage Company, as we like to say, they are fresher and, as Anthony pointed out, safer under pressure. And the whole goal, I believe, with the HPP technologies, I think it's amazing and very cutting edge. What my goal to do is to help the consumer understand you have more options in terms of your beverage product selections. And as HPP technology grows, more food product genres for that matter, that you don't have to always go with products that are high in chemicals, stabilizers, highly processed. You can still get a very fresh, very clean tasting product without having to sacrifice safety. If you're a pregnant woman, if you have young children at home, maybe you're someone with some compromised health issues where understanding what goes into your body is super important. And again, as the owner and founder of Simplicity Beverage Company, again, I actually have been in private practice in the Atlanta area for 19 years. And as Anthony shared, I work with patients in a multitude of capacities, but one of my passions is nutritional counseling. And what we do is we basically educate our patients on healthier lifestyle choices. And over the years, one of the things that I noticed was that most people do not take into consideration what they drink as a part of their healthy lifestyle. And so after noticing this pattern year over year, it kind of became a quest, even for myself included. Is it possible to create a better for you, lower calorie beverage product that's not super processed, that's not super sweet, that's not super laden with chemicals and gluten and some of these other things that we know are super important? Can this be done? And over the years, that's actually how I started Simplicity Beverage Company. I literally started in my own kitchen, formulating these recipes, learning how to scale a recipe. And so it took about 10 years only because it was something that I had to do after I was finished with full-time private practice. And so Simplicity Beverage Company was created to be that intersection of fun, fresh ingredient combinations without compromising flavor, and most importantly, without compromising nutrition. So I entered the beverage market last year in 2021 with 4 beverage products, 2 teas and 2 lemonades. Again, my products are vegan, gluten-free, dye-free, no additives. And I use the HPP process to prevent pathogen growth, maintain freshness. In order to bring a beverage product to market, as most of you know, you have to do a series of testings. And so one of the things that I knew, again, when I was formulating my company, it wasn't so much so that I always knew what I wanted, but I was concrete about what I did not want. Again, I did not want a bunch of dyes. I did not want a bunch of chemical stabilizers. I didn't want a bunch of processed products. And there are plenty of amazing companies that offer those. But again, I was trying to create a distinctive product, for the consumer that's actually a little bit more discerning about their product selection. And so even with starting as far back as my shelf life study, I actually use the HPP technology to go ahead and actually neutralize bacteria and pathogens on my shelf life study. And eventually I worked with Hiperbaric to complete my validation study, which I will go to more in depth in a moment. And so again, I entered the beverage space with 4 products, 2 teas, 2 lemonades. The first product I had is called Basil Breeze. That is a basil lemonade. It's 50 calories per 8-ounce serving. And in speaking with my consumers, doing focus groups, gathering product research, the amazing feedback that I got was that most people were excited to see that Basil Breeze only has 3 ingredients. And I wanted that on purpose. People were excited to see it is a refrigerator stable product. Just because you can take a product and refrigerate it does not mean it is an actual fresh product. And what I wanted was a refrigerator stable beverage product. And so Basil Breeze was one of our first offerings. I also have Guava Goodness, and Guava Goodness is a guava lemonade. Same thing. It contains guava, lemons, water, organic cane sugar, and tartaric acid. And tartaric acid actually is a natural acid, comes from the skin of grapes. It's actually used very heavily in the winemaking process. And again, that is a very natural plant-based preservative. I have Fulfillment, which is a mint-infused green tea. Same thing. Green tea leaves, mint leaves, a little bit of honey, water, sugar, a little bit of tartaric acid. That is it. And then my last product is Island Time. That is a hibiscus tropical flavor tea. It has pineapple juice. Anthony touched on pineapple juice being high in bromelain. Bromelain is a very powerful anti-inflammatory that's plant-based and naturally occurring. Lime juice along with lemon juice, very high in vitamin C. Ginger for digestion. Orange peel for digestion. And we have some other natural spices in there to create a really bold flavor profile. But again, I did not want to compromise that flavor profile with chemical stabilizers. And that's, again, one of the reasons why the HPP technology is super important. And so for me as a company founder and a beverage owner, as Simplicity Beverage Company, companies like Hiperbaric, which I can't say enough about the benefits of Hiperbaric, as well as the Cold Pressure Council, for me, it was a synergistic partnership. It allowed me as a founder to create a product that I was comfortable serving to myself, my family, my patients, the consumer, and it just put me at ease. There was a lot of things I didn't have to worry about. The HPP technology is non-thermal. I didn't want a product that was going to be superheated, or as Anthony shared earlier, boiled. And the reason why is when you boil a product, you denature it. And I have a degree in chemistry as well. And so if we talk about denaturing, think about a raw egg. If I take a raw egg and I boil that egg, no matter what I do, I will never turn that egg back into its raw state. So when you denature a product, you basically eliminate or basically obliterate, when you boil it, all of the naturally occurring vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. So yes, you have a product that is free of pathogens, but it is also free of nutrition as well. And again, as a healthcare professional, that's not something that I was interested in. The HPP technology is also extremely environmentally sustainable. We know as founders and business owners, companies are spending millions of dollars to create environmentally sustainable products and processes. Sustainability is at the forefront right now. A lot of people are directing their consumer dollars towards companies that have strong sustainability statements. And so again, in formulating Simplicity Beverage Company from the onset, I wanted to make sure that my products were as sustainable as possible. And the HPP technology only uses pressure and water. It gets no more sustainable than that. And the other added benefit is that the water is actually recycled. So not only are we, again, preventing pathogen growth, we're using a recyclable and sustainable process to do so. And Anthony also touched on earlier maintaining a clean label. What is a clean label? A clean label is just basically that, the ingredients that you use to make your product, and that's all. There's no stabilizers, there's no gluten, there's no other chemicals, basically no other additives to make that product what it is. And so the HPP technology allows us to actually accomplish that at simplicity. And again, the most important thing for me as a provider is to maintain those naturally occurring vitamins, minerals, enzymes, and aromatics. So when you open a bottle of Simplicity Basil Breeze Basil Lemonade, the first thing you get is a strong smell of naturally occurring basil. Not because we added chemicals to make it smell like basil, it's because we never heated the product, and that's exactly how the product occurs in nature. So again, I'm just super, super excited to bring this information to you as a founder, just to let other business owners know you have other options out there in terms of maintaining freshness of your product, creating a clean product, or maybe if you've been in business for a long period of time and you're looking to transition, maybe you're looking to switch over to some different processes. Please don't overlook companies like Hiperbaric. They can walk you through the process, super easy to deal with. I utilized Hiperbaric to complete my validation study, which we did over the process of about 4 months to actually prove that, yes, the HPP process does take care of E. coli, listeria. It does prevent those pathogens that Anthony shared earlier, because as a business owner, I have to provide that information to my co-packer. I have to provide it to distributors. I have to provide it to retail outlets. And they walk you through that process and make that process super, super easy to handle. And then partnering with companies like the Cold Pressure Council, because we also work to help create brand awareness for this technology. Even though it's fairly new, we feel that consumers need to know that you do, again, have more options and there are more available to you. And the Cold Pressure Council does an amazing job of making sure that they spread the news about HPP, not just for the food and beverage industry, but the seafood industry, the fruit and vegetable industry, your probiotic beverages, your packaged soups, things of that nature. So again, I just want to thank you so much for your time and attention. Again, HPP Innovation Week, dive in, get the research, because I will tell you, I actually used my own patients as my consumer research and focus group. And I'm here to tell you, people are doing more research. Consumers are digging into your website. They're looking at your ingredients. They're looking at your labeling. They are checking these things out, and they are definitely directing their dollars accordingly. So I strongly encourage you to learn as much as you can and employ something as cutting edge as HPP technology. Again, thank you so much, and enjoy HPP Innovation Week 2022.